Hi there guys, this is Chris Coney speaking and welcome to today's episode of the Cryptoverse. This is going to be a lot more casual a format than I normally do. I'm still traveling, still here in Las Vegas on the tail end of the trip to Devin Michael's Mastery Retreat, and I'm going to New Mexico in a couple of days to meet with some US regulators with regards to cryptocurrencies. So that's that. Anyway, so I picked out a couple of news stories that I thought were interesting when I was browsing the news this morning. The first one is this one. It comes from bitcoinist.com. Apparently, Bitcoin futures trading volume is up 93% on the CME group. So it says volume is up 93% and the number of total contracts surpassed 2,400, which is a 58% increase. So if a 58% increase in contracts numbers and 93% increase in actual volume, I assume that means, total amount of Bitcoin that has been traded. Now remember, it says here back end of December, everyone was anticipating the launch of Bitcoin futures as we went towards 20,000, and we all thought that the futures would introduce a lot of new money and push it even higher, but in fact it went the opposite way. Now in terms of whether this is true or not, there's a tweet that's embedded in the article from the CME group, which says, Bitcoin average daily volume in the second quarter grew 93% over the previous quarter, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, okay, that's fine. Can we actually verify that on the charts? So I just went over to TradingView, popped up the Bitcoin futures daily chart from the CME group, and I changed the volume indicator. Normally I have this on a 20-day average so that you get the bars which represent the daily volume, and then the blue area that represents the volume over a given period. Normally that's 20 days. I've changed that to 60 days so that we have like a 2-month view. And when you do that, you take a 2-month view, there's definitely a steady increase in the overall average volume. And looking at this, the last several days have reached, like all-time highs in terms of volume. So that actually seems to be true. Not seems to be true, is true according to the data. So I thought that was interesting. What does that mean though? So it means that an increase in institutional interest in Bitcoin is always a good thing. And also here it says that BlackRock Inc., the world's largest provider of ETFs, exchange-traded funds, has reportedly assembled a working group to investigate cryptocurrency-based products. And talking about ETFs, we know that there's two markets for Bitcoin futures. There's the CBOE and the CME. And this article reminds us that the CBOE has one of its applications for a Bitcoin ETF currently being reviewed by the US Securities and Exchange Commission. We haven't yet had a Bitcoin ETF approved, but that would be pretty big, considering that ETFs, unlike futures contracts, have to hold the underlying asset in reserve to back the fund. So futures, you can trade it on paper, ETFs not so much. So if ETFs get approved, or one ETF gets approved, then the fund manager is going to have to buy, store, and secure a whole bunch of Bitcoin based on demand from their clients. So this is something we've all been waiting for. I was Bitcoin hodlers, so fingers crossed, third time's the charm, this application will get approved. So we'll keep an eye on that, no doubt. Another article that caught my eye was one from bitcoin.com. Apparently Coinbase have started running their Facebook ads again. You remember that Facebook banned cryptocurrency advertising temporarily because there were too many scams being advertised. Apparently ICOs remain not allowed to advertise on Facebook, but they did reintroduce the possibility of advertising on Facebook if you got approved. So if you get whitelisted on Facebook and they check you out and you make sure you are legitimate, then you can run your ads. Anyway, it says here that the CEO of Coinbase, Brian Armstrong, announced on social media that, quote, Facebook banned ads for cryptos earlier this year. Proud to say we've now been whitelisted and are back introducing more people to an open financial system. Close quote. And then the article says, after banning all crypto ads in January, Facebook has updated its policy in June to allow promotional content from so-called pre-approved advertisers. My suspicious mind wonders, that's Facebook being a gatekeeper Now, I absolutely agree that you can't just let anyone advertise, because it's difficult for a non-initiated person to differentiate between like a legitimate ICO or a legitimate crypto project and a scam project, because they can all say similar things, but one could be a scam and one cannot. So I understand Facebook's position in terms of not allowing just a free-for-all of advertising, but I suspect that they're not applying the same standard to other industries, right? Say the mainstream financial system, or any other industry for that matter that's unregulated, that has the same problem. But because it's money, perhaps because it's digital money, it's so much more dangerous, and the propensity to lose money because it's digital money is so much higher. So yeah, I can see it from both angles. My point was that Facebook could abuse its power to only allow its friends to advertise on their platform. That's all I'm saying. Now, Facebook have approved Coinbase because certifiably Coinbase, have got a track record and are a legitimate business. But I just want to share that thought with you, whether it's conspiratorial or not. It entered my mind, so I shared with you. You can let me know what you think about that in the comments below. The other part of this article talks about Coinbase Prime. Sounds like Amazon Prime, but this is the custodial service where Coinbase will use their expertise in securing cryptos to allow institutions to store large amounts of cryptos with them instead of figuring out how to do it themselves. So apparently a $20 billion hedge fund has signed up for this service. This is from Business Insider. Quote, according to people familiar with the matter. Not exactly a primary source. That doesn't mean it's false, by the way. It just means that I'm just highlighting where the information came from. So Business Insider have spoken to some people who are familiar with the matter and have said that a $20 billion hedge fund has signed up for Coinbase's custodial service. More institutional interest in crypto. Can't be bad, can't be bad. Next, I found another article here. This is from CoinDesk. This article is entitled Mastercard Had an Outage, so crypto had a field day. So cryptocurrency fiat gateway provider Mastercard suffered some downtime across the east and west coast of the United States and in the UK. And as soon as I read this, I was like, this reminds me of, am I getting deja vu here? Do you remember we had a similar down period with Visa not that long ago? Was that? It's probably longer ago than I think, actually. I was going to say several months, but it's probably more like 6 months or more. Time has passed since we actually had that happen. And it says crypto has a field day because, of course, any blip on the radar for Mastercard is just going to cause the crypto people to jump all over them and say, well, you see, this is why we should be using cryptocurrencies and so on and so forth. In fact, the article has a bunch of tweets embedded in it from people saying things like, oh, Bitcoin never had a service interruption, replying to Mastercard and so on. And of course, Mastercard have seen these, right? They're monitoring their Twitter, so they're obviously they're clearly aware of Bitcoin, and they're aware of the attitude of the crypto hodlers, I'm sure. There is, again, I always see things from both angles. I don't like just to be a crypto zealot. I am absolutely a cryptocurrency enthusiast, but at the same time, I don't like to just get emotionally myopic about these kinds of situations. Give Mastercard some credit, right? They're processing thousands of transactions per second every day, and every day you take it for granted that it works. It just works, right? Now, granted, the severity of them having a blip like this is high, so yes, I understand why people get annoyed. And the principal point that some people are making is like, if we're so reliant on credit cards, and if cash is going away, say, if there's a war on cash and more people are using credit cards, then even a slight blip in service from someone like Mastercard could mean severe consequences for massive numbers of people who can't buy groceries or put fuel in their cars or whatever. So yeah, I get that. I was just saying that Mastercard have performed almost flawlessly, but for this one little blip, and one for Visa as well. The bottom line, though, is that it's the danger of having everything relying on one central entity, isn't it? If we had multiple providers, and because we have Visa and Mastercard, right? That's only two, though. But if we had the cryptos, where there was hundreds of possible options for payment, then, one being down wouldn't affect any of the others. And even then, the Bitcoin network has never been down. So that's one of the arguments people are putting forward. Some people are arguing for Ripple, some people are arguing for Bitcoin, and so on and so forth. And yes, Bitcoin is superior in that respect, but it doesn't have the capacity right now to do what Mastercard does. So that's me just then going backwards and forwards, from both sides of the argument. Yes, I understand it from Mastercard's point of view, I understand it from the critics' point of view, but ultimately, even if we say yes, fine, Mastercard's a load of rubbish, let's move it all over to Bitcoin, well, we're not ready for that yet, are we? We're still in the midst of scaling the whole thing. Moving on from there, this is my EOS account here. Someone did send me a EOS tip, like 5 or 6 days ago now, and they asked for technical analysis on Vertcoin. So I've kept this in mind. I thought I don't want to let that slide because someone was good enough to send me a crypto tip and ask for a technical analysis. So I thought the next time I do a video, I'm going to include this in the show. So here it comes. So Vertcoin is ranked 162nd by market cap on CoinMarketCap. It's VTC, and according to CoinMarketCap today, it's trading at $1.03, but only down a touch, only down 0.1%. Let's go over to the charts though. This is Bittrex with Vertcoin trading against Bitcoin on the daily chart. And before I started recording today, I did draw a few lines on here because I hadn't analyzed Vertcoin before. What's interesting about the Bittrex chart is that the data goes back quite far. When I zoomed right out to get the perspective here, it goes right back past, it's been around since 2016, it goes back 2015, and I think it was originally listed right back here. It had its customary massive volatility when it first got listed back in February of 2014. So Vertcoin been trading for quite a while. What I've done now is I've drawn some lines that demarcate a sort of a reasonable trading range for Vertcoin over the last couple of years. So the last major low for Vertcoin was about 8,499 Satoshis. And today, if I pull over the sidebar here, it's trading about 13,791. So still a way up from its previous low. And you can clearly see it's been falling for the most of 2018. It's interesting, when Bitcoin got its $20,000 run, Vertcoin had some huge volatility. It was all over the place. I mean, so much so that if we measured top to bottom, or bottom to top rather, how big a move this was, let's go right up here. It was as much as 146% swing, top to bottom, and it happened over the period of 2 months, where it went from around about 38,000 Satoshis all the way up to 93,000 Satoshis and back again, over the course of 60 days. So that was some serious volatility. More recently though, and as of right now, Vertcoin remains under both its moving averages. So under the 200-day moving average, under the 50-day moving average. So right now, still in a very bearish position following the rest of the crypto markets. The good news though here is it seems to have bottomed out. So now I've zoomed right in, you see that 13,153 Satoshis seems to be sort of the bottom, and now it's sort of flattening out and going sideways in a consolidation pattern. And that's been happening since the bottom here, which is about the 29th of June. So this is now coming up to a month where Vertcoin is stabilized and is moving sideways. The top of that range, if you're interested in, is about 16,500 Satoshis. And if it were to break that in a breakout style, the next sort of major support and resistance that I can see was set back here in March time, and it's at 21,180 Satoshis. And then beyond that, it's 31,500 Satoshis. So feel free to draw those lines on your own charts. For me, the most significant level would be that 16,500 Satoshi level, which if it broke, could see a run up to 22,180. And then beyond that, if it broke, it would be running on to 31,000 Satoshis-ish. So that's a quick and brief, concise overview of where I see Bitcoin right now against Bitcoin. It doesn't trade against that many currencies, to be honest. So I picked Bittrex and the Bitcoin pair just so we had some decent candlestick movement to analyze. But there we jolly well go. I think that is all I've got for you today. Those are the articles I wanted to talk to you about. So if you thought this video was absolutely terrible, you can hit that button. But if you liked it, please hit the like button, get subscribed, and also go down in the video description and grab yourself a discount coupon for any one of my online courses, which you will see on screen here. Also down there is a link to my Twitter profile. It's at ChrisConeyINT, and you should follow me on there. And also my Steam profile, which is at MarketingMonk. You should follow me on there and comment on my content, because then if I see a good comment, then I will upvote it and you'll get some cryptocurrency rewards just for commenting on my content. That can't be bad, can it? And if you've got a little bit more time, you can go over to my YouTube channel and watch this video about the new My Crypto desktop app, which I released recently. Other than that, guys, that is all for today. I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.